wonderful friend Maria was on stage like a rock star, and I had a martini glass. Somehow she had extreme power and turned and knocked the glass. And then the glass went in her arm. And then the blood starts to come out. We go off stage, and then this dumb bald guy.
When your mom's high school friend that you run into on vacation serendipitously is the one to take care of you after you get into an accident from a martini glass breaking from hitting your funny bone and causing possible nerve damage. We will see what the damage really is when I get back home to the States tomorrow, because after the paramedics stopped the bleeding and after I saw cartilage coming out of an open flap above my elbow, I went to the hospital to get stitches here, and they tried charging 450 American dollars just to be seen by the doctor, not including the stitches. So I don't want to know what the stitches would cost. So I'm holding out until tomorrow to see a doctor in the US where we fortunately have health insurance. But in the meantime, I'm just super blessed for all the people that have been here on this crazy day to help take care of my crybaby ass. It just makes me think of people that like go through accidents or go through anything in life that's hard and have to go through it alone. Like, I'm so sorry to anyone who has to go through something alone or feels like they have to go through something alone. It's such a beautiful thing to look around you and see people with love in their eyes who genuinely care about you and are concerned about you and who will cook you vegan dinner. But isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how in life, when tragic things happen, emotionally, physically, we tend to just crumble, or at least I do, and I think a lot of people do, crumble to these feelings of like, of course this would happen. Like, my life has been a chain of events that are just like bad things after the other, hard things to go through. But then also when things are going well, or like you're feeling feelings of peace, you're like, it's all okay, and it's always been okay, and all the things that have happened have brought me to the places I am now, and all this stuff. And it's like, it's weird how it all just depends on your presence of how you show up to life and like the label that you put on it. Even though bad things happen, it's like they're always going to happen, instead of being continually forever upset like when bad things happen. Woe is me, afraid of life and internalizing the fear of these experiences, the trauma of these experiences, and just like keeping your guard up. It takes a lot of consciousness and a lot of bravery and presence to work through that, like to come on the other side of that. There's been a lot going on in my life. But at the exact same time, there's blessings happening at the very face of the struggles. And I feel very emotional about it all. But I don't want to let myself get fixated on how hard things are and how intensely they feel to go through them. I can't help that I feel intensely about life, but I can't help being a mother to myself.
En el nombre de Padre, de Hijo, de Espíritu Santo. Update. You don't want to see that. Update, I'm all well. What was that they said about Murphy's Law? That if shit goes wrong, it will get even wronger. It's funny because when I had this ulnar nerve cut issue happen doing my bikini dance on stage in Cabo, this astrologer that I keep up with on Instagram said that to be extra careful that day because Uranus was T-squaring Neptune, Sus square, Pluto, and it was like accidents might happen.
And that's literally when this accident happened to me. Basically, since I had that injury on my elbow, I had not been able to feel my fingers since. And it's funny because I know I'm a crybaby and I was crying when the accident happened. And everyone's like, shh, it's okay, it's just a cut, calm down. I'm like, but I can't feel my little pinky and my ring finger. And they're like, it just takes time. Went to the ER and they're like, it'll take time, your nerve is just bruised. And just a few days ago, I was holding a coffee mug trying to strengthen this hand because I want to, even though I can't feel these two fingers, I want to keep my strength. But I couldn't feel that my hand was being scalded by my coffee mug, leaving a second-degree burn. My nerve has not gotten any better. I still can't feel my fingers. I can feel like that something is touching them, but I can't feel texture or temperature. My hand muscles are weakening. My arm is weakening. I can't even press a button to unlock my car keys. And it's just very, I'm just scared, to be completely honest. Like, I've never had surgery before. I hope it doesn't have to be that way. But then again, I also have just been I've been receiving insight through this journey about being strong mentally, no matter what happens and what the outcome is, because I've been taking a lot of inspiration from people's stories of them being in freak accidents and having to process the experience of losing a limb or losing a loved one or becoming paralyzed from the waist down, or even people who become paralyzed and they mentally push through it and like muster all their strength and never give up, and then they finally can walk again. Like, I've just been so humbled by not only what other people have to go through, but also humbled by how fragile and temporary this human experience is. As my dad said, how temporary this temporal experience is. And the truth is, like, the fear around injury and the fear around being at the doctor and the dentist that I have, it all roots back to death. And basically that's every fear that we struggle with, all roots back to a resistance of the inevitable surrender. And I'm very much still settling my fragile and frenzied ego to really allow this to sink in. But I think that is the lesson here. The lesson, which is something else I've struggled with for so long, is like, is there really lessons in everything? Does everything really happen for a reason? Some things do feel like they happen for a reason, and I have another video on this. Some things feel so cold and so sudden, so unfeeling, so emotionless and highness from the universe that it's like, why would a loving God want this to happen? And I just feel like, while it might be true that some things don't really happen for a divine, soul growth reason, some things just kind of happen because it's just like, that's just the laws of the universe where like shit goes wrong and you have to kind of just like deal with it. While that might be true, there's just something, I don't know if it's my ego or if it's my soul's wisdom, that just doesn't accept that and needs to feel like there's a reason for things. Even if it's something horribly tragic, maybe on the highest level, like from God's perspective, it's like God is like, I'm really sorry that you are experiencing the absolute soul-crushing weight of what it's like to feel that pain in a human body and have to process trauma and tragedy. But just know that your soul came to earth to grow in really harsh conditions. There's a lot of beauty and there's a lot of love here, but there also is the polarity, which is tragedy. Contrast. There's a lot of contrast here on earth, and that's why, due to this contrast, I feel like truth is somewhere in the middle, in between optimism and pessimism. Remember how I said that the injury that I had happened according to the transits that were warning against freak accidents that day? Well, yesterday, the same astrologer, his name is Dr. Michael Lennox, he posted a video for the current energy of that day, and he was like, tread lightly because the emotions of today are gonna run high. Like you might get some unexpected 180-degree news. It's gonna cause a lot of emotional breakdown, so just tread lightly. However, this breakdown, if you can just be present with it, like, and just be strong, like, there's greater healing here. And indeed, that is exactly what happened to me. So I went to the doctor yesterday, walk in the building, immediately I'm uncomfortable. And I'm always usually uncomfortable when it comes to like getting my health checked out. Hypochondria props. I couldn't even complete my sentence before the doctor walked in. I'm like, Mom, I don't have a good feeling about this. Hello, doctor. And he's like, what'd you do? And I'm like, well, the burn is from not being able to feel my fingers due to an elbow injury. And I just want a second opinion because the first opinion said that I was gonna be fine. He barely takes a look at my elbow, asks me to straighten my fingers a little bit, and tells me that I can't go back in the past for making stupid mistakes and that I need to get this taken care of as quickly as possible. I can't believe I already waited a week to hold off on surgery and that he can schedule me in for surgery next week. My mom tries asking a question and he's like, puts down his clipboard. He's like, let me give it to you straight because I don't think you're understanding. She wrecked herself. And I can't even guarantee that even when we do surgery, she's going to regain sensation again in her fingers and in her palm. And then I just like start to let the tears fall. And he's like, I mean, let me know like when you're ready for surgery because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm not feeling optimistic about your case. Like you wrecked yourself. You can't even you can't feel your fingers. You couldn't feel the 2nd-degree burn. Like that's a serious injury. But I scheduled another appointment just for another opinion, obviously, before someone cuts into my body. He basically was like, well, I mean, I can't tell you 100% you're going to get better on your own because of liability reasons, but 90% sure you're going to be okay, but you have to have patience. This is going to be probably like a 9-month recovery time. I feel truly inspired to just be more grateful for life because I feel like I've been so exposed to how fragile and how scary life is and truly how imminent death is. And it's something that like is at the root of almost every fear is this fear of death. And even though I'm better now, I'm still gonna die one day. We're all still gonna die. And full circle with death is life and gratitude and trust and, you know, even trust in the continuation of consciousness after death. But here in the moment, in the present, is where kind of all of that comes to a surrender. And like through that surrender is gratitude. And interestingly enough, as we were leaving the neurologist, the first license plate I see says, be grateful. Underneath the license plate, like on the rim of the license plate, it says, trust the process. You can't make this shit up, man. Comment below if you have any stories of things that have humbled you or any hardships you've gone through with your physical health, your mental health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for subscribing and watching and liking this video. It doesn't hurt to send some positive energy and prayers my way. I'm sending them back to you. Love you guys.